I love Neon Genesis Evangelion. This right here is my favorite anime of all time. I truly don't think that any other anime will top it for me. The story, the characters, and the world are nothing short of perfection. Nothing can top this series for me. I also love video games, and the Evangelion series has had quite a few games based on it. So are any of these games actually good? Well, let's find out. Here we have Neon Genesis Evangelion for the Sega Saturn, and this right here is the first Evangelion game ever made. Originally releasing in March of 1996, there are actually two versions of this game, and I have the later release from 1997, which came out in February of that year. And fun fact, this game actually came out only a couple weeks before the final episode of the Evangelion anime aired. Now, this game does not have an English fan translation, so take my opinion on it with a grain of salt, but honestly, this game is super lame. And I mean, this game should have been a match made in heaven considering that the Sega Saturn was actually featured in the original Evangelion series. And that's how you know Evangelion is awesome, because it literally had a Sega Saturn in it. Anyway, so you'd expect this game to be actually good, but it leaves a lot to be desired. It was clearly made just to get an Evangelion game out because it was like the hot new thing at the time. The game is very short and it only has like 2 segments of actual gameplay. Most of the time you'll just be watching cutscenes with the player being able to make certain decisions. The cutscenes are a combination of new animation and animation from the actual show. And oh my god, sometimes there's times in this game where they try to like cut out frames from the original show and just kind of like paste it together on a new background. It looks so horrible. So when you finally get done with the cutscenes, what is the gameplay like? Well, it's not great. Now again, it's not entirely fair for me to criticize this as I cannot read Japanese and this game kind of heavily relies on text. So yeah, just keep that in mind, but I'm sorry, this game is just so lame. It's a turn-based style of gameplay, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, even though that style of gameplay isn't my ideal vision for an Evangelion game, but they do it in the worst way possible. It uses full motion video to convey the action in this game, and yeah, that's pretty pathetic. Like seriously, the Sega Saturn can do way better than this. I mean, come on, FMVs, you gotta be kidding me. At the end of the game, you can rewatch the decisions you made throughout the cutscenes, so it's kind of like you're making your own episode of the show, which is kind of cool, I guess. So overall, I am not very impressed by this game, but you know, it was the first Evangelion game, so I guess I can let it slide. This game got a sequel in March of 1997. This is Neon Genesis Evangelion's second impression, and wow, this game actually comes with a double CD case. What could that be? Wow, this comes with a GameCube version of the game. Well, I guess I gotta check this out. 1 second. Okay, what this actually is a mini CD that features songs sung by Asuka's voice actor, Yuko Miyamura. These songs are not bad at all. The first song on the disc is funky as hell. I absolutely love it. And the second song is pretty damn good too. This second song here was actually sung by Kyoko Hakami, who also voices the new character in this game, Mayumi. I'm not really sure why they included this, but I think it's super cool that they did. I love when games include just extra stuff like this. Now taking a look at the actual game itself, wow, this game is definitely an improvement. This game retains the turn-based style of gameplay from the original game, but it is way better here. I'm definitely impressed, and they actually took advantage of the Sega Saturn hardware this time. What a concept. And look, there's actually 3D models of the Evas this time. There are still only a couple gameplay segments here, and it's mostly cutscenes, but the cutscenes are actually improved here. There's still a lot of reused animation from the show, but everything is a lot less sloppy here. So this game definitely isn't a masterpiece or anything, but it's far from horrible. Let's change things up a little bit. This is Neon Genesis Evangelion Ayanami Raising Project. And this is actually one of the first Evangelion games I remember coming across when I was first getting into this series. This game first released in May of 2001 for Windows, with releases coming out in the following years for Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and the Nintendo DS. And man, the Windows box art, like, it doesn't even look official. That's fan art, that's gotta be. The Dreamcast release of this game was actually pretty sick. It came with an official Dreamcast mouse with the Nerve logo on it. And there's some extra goodies in here like these keychains and this questionable mouse pad here. I wish I could cover the Dreamcast version of this game in this video, but unfortunately it does not have an English fan translation. But thankfully the version for the Nintendo DS actually does have a fan translation, so that's the version I will be looking at today. And I will be playing that said version on an emulator because I don't have a way of recording DS games, so there's that. Not like any of you like actually care, but you know, just throwing it out there. This one is super weird. It's like this life simulation style of game where you play the role of someone at Nerve who is assigned to be the guardian of Rei Ayanami. So from that alone, kind of a strange concept for a game, isn't it? So yeah, this really isn't my kind of game, and from the portion that I played of this game, it was honestly kind of boring. You have to plan Rei's entire week. Stuff like working out, doing stuff at Nerve, going to the beach and the amusement park. You can also go shopping throughout the week for stuff like clothing and bed sheets, and you can even buy animation cells. Unfortunately, you cannot view those animation cells in game, so it's a complete waste of money. I was really disappointed by that. Like, I really wanted to see the animation cell that I bought, but yeah. You can also buy coffee and food, and you can even walk in the park. And honestly, I have no clue how to get money in this game. I really did not get that far in this one. So yeah, overall, from what I played of this game definitely isn't for me. I can see the appeal, but from the very short portion of this game that I played, I'm honestly not super impressed. Maybe it's just one of those games where I just need to keep playing it and then maybe I'll understand it one day. And you know, maybe if I'm bored one of these days, I might go and pop it up and check it out. But for now, yeah, not super impressed. Let's go back to something a little more traditional. This is Neon Genesis Evangelion for the Nintendo 64, which came out in June of 1999. And man, this cartridge is super surreal. Like, something about seeing the words Neon Genesis Evangelion on a Nintendo 64 cartridge is just super weird to me. But it's also super cool at the same time, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. I also wish I owned a complete copy of this game because man, this box is so cool. Comes with all these cool inserts, and the cover to this manual looks like the Nerve document that Misato gives to Shinji in the beginning of the show. That's just so cool. This was another one of the first Evangelion games I remember coming across, and this is definitely one of the more famous Evangelion games. One of the most famous parts of this game is the music of the game, specifically two songs that are featured in the game. Cruel Angel's Thesis, which is obviously the theme song of the show, and Kamsusser Todd from the end of Evangelion. Both of these songs in this game have a striking resemblance to the sound font used in Super Mario 64. I mean, it legit sounds straight out of that game. So it's super cool that this exists in an official capacity. Though weirdly enough though, I don't remember hearing Cruel Angel's Thesis in my playthrough of this game. Maybe I just missed it, I don't know. Now talking about the actual game itself, I can definitely say this game is not bad at all. It's actually pretty fun. The game is structured as a retelling of the original Evangelion series through its levels, with the game featuring cutscenes that recreate Evangelion scenes with the limitations of the Nintendo 64. There isn't a set style of gameplay in this one, it's mostly quick time events with some brawler segments thrown in there. The brawler style of gameplay, which is super clunky, definitely has a learning curve to it. I guess they were really trying to make it feel like you were actually piloting an Eva, so I don't know. Despite that, these are probably the best parts of the game overall, and when you actually figure out how to beat the levels, it can be super fun. The quick time events aren't incredible or anything, but they can be a decent amount of fun. There's also segments where you rapidly press buttons to defeat the angels, and those are pretty fun too. The game covers many of the angel battles from the original series like Ramiel, and this one is actually really cool because you have to line up the shot just like how Shinji does in the show. They also got Magma Diver in this one, and you know what that means. They included that scene. They got Shinji and Asuka's synchronized fight, which is one of my all-time favorite scenes in the entire show, and they also got the portion leading up to that. They even got Jet alone in this game, so that's how you know that this game is high quality. The game goes all the way up to the end of Evangelion. Unfortunately, I'm only able to show you one portion of that, which is the Asuka fight, because in order to unlock the final level, you can't play the game on easy mode, which is the mode I did play on because I'm a bum, so sorry. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this one. I really like how it makes it feel like you're actually playing an episode of the show. It's not a perfect game at all, and I don't think it would be super replayable, but this is definitely one of the best and most definitive Evangelion games ever made. Now let's take a look at a game for a system that I do not own, that being the Wonder Swan. The Wonder Swan was a handheld system released by Bandai in 1999. It's a pretty nifty looking system, and you can even position it vertically for vertically oriented games, which is really cool. This is another console that has actually made cameos in the Evangelion series, this time being in 2 of the rebuild films with Asuka being seen playing it. Though unlike the Sega Saturn where it's like a sponsorship inclusion where it uses Sega logos and everything, with the Wonder Swan it more uses the system's likeness, which makes sense since the Wonder Swan was discontinued way before the rebuilds even came out. Anyways, here we have Neon Genesis Evangelion Angel Raising Project, which released in July of 1999. Now, unlike the Ayanami Raising Project, this game is actually really cool. You take the role of Kaji, so already off to a good start there because Kaji is awesome. The game starts off at what appears to be the end of episode 8 of the original anime, which is my personal favorite episode of the series, might I add, where Kaji has that atom embryo, and that is what you actually raise in this game. One of the main things you are doing is just watching over this embryo where you periodically give it more energy, manage LCL stuff, and change the filter out of the thing that it's in, among other stuff. This thing can die though, so be careful. I tried naming it Dookie, but that name wouldn't fit. The other thing you can do in this game is go around Nerve headquarters and talk to people, find items, and access new areas of the headquarters. I even found the key to Gendo's desk, that little bastard. The game has a day-to-day structure where you work for a set amount of time each day. The embryo can evolve over these days, giving you new things to do with it, like this minigame here that strengthens it. So yeah, overall, I was really not expecting to like this game as much as I did, but I'm honestly super impressed by it. I absolutely love how it is very accurate to the lore of Evangelion. It makes you feel like you're working for Nerve headquarters. It feels like you're actually in the show. Even though something like the Ayanami Raising Project is similar in some ways, it feels like it has nothing to do with Evangelion other than the fact that it has Rei in it. But in the Angel Raising Project, there is so much more substance. It truly feels like an Evangelion game. I don't know if I would fully commit to an entire playthrough of this game, but I actually played this game for a decent amount of time for the purposes of recording footage for this video. I really enjoyed my time with this one, and it's truly a miracle that this game has a fan translation, so definitely check it out. One of the best Eva games. Now here's a super cool one. These are the Evangelion typing games. Evangelion Typing Project E and Evangelion Typing Project Advanced, respectively. These games were originally released on Windows, logically. The first one came out in 1999, and the second one came out in 2000. These games were later ported to the Sega Dreamcast, and these will be the versions I'll be covering in this video with the awesome fan translation that I got loaded up on my GDEMU. So without further ado, let's check these games out. And yeah, this is a legit typing game. It's kind of like Mario teaches typing, but with Evangelion. These games are honestly pretty fun despite them being literal typing teaching software. Man, in the first game, Project Typing E, one of the levels is based on the best episode, Episode 8, Asuka Strikes. And they even got Jet Alone in this one. Hell yes. In the second game, Project Typing Advanced, there's actually some pretty cool levels in this one too. They got one with Kaji watering his watermelons, as he is known to do. And if you fail that one, then Asuka dies. Speaking of Asuka dying, they even have the famous Asuka fight with the mass production Evas. And if you fail that one too, the infamous death sequence plays out. Though it is way less gruesome here. And honestly, they should have just went all out and made it even more gruesome than the actual movie. That would have definitely helped the people playing this game get better at typing. You got this cute cooking level, one with Hikari making a meal for Toji, and one with Misato where she's just drinking a beer the whole time while she cooks her instant food. There's even a dating mini game where the more you type, the more they like you. What the f***? The three segments include Maya, Asuka, and Rei, and that's kinda weird. I would have much rather preferred Misato and Ritsuko instead of Asuka and Rei. And Rei's segment is so damn hard, like I swear, you have like no time to type anything. So other than that blunder, these games are actually very good. Nothing that I'd play on the regular because they are just simple typing games, but they're very fun nonetheless. Wish I learned how to type with this game though. Here's a weird one. This is Petite Eva Evangelion at game for the Nintendo DS. And yes, that is the actual title. This game was released in March of 2008 and is based on the Evangelion web series and manga called Petite Eva Evangelion at School. This game doesn't even feel real, man. Like, yeah, the Evangelion series has had some lighthearted moments like in some of the earlier episodes and in some parts of the rebuilds, but overall, Evangelion is a very serious franchise. So to see this lighthearted, goofy-ass Evangelion game for the Nintendo DS is just super surreal. It's very much a mini-game-based game, and it feels right at home on the DS. They are pretty simple mini-games that usually involve having to tap things off the screen, among other rudimentary stuff. There's even a mini-game where you have to help Ritsuko fix this wiring in the Magi, which is pretty funny to think about. Like, can Ritsuko really not do this herself? Like, she has to rely on some 14-year-old kid to do this? Like, come on. These mini-games are all structured around cutscenes involving the Evangelion cast in a slice of life style. There's a character in the Petite Eva world called Ivansho. He's a miniature version of Eva Unit 1, and the only thing he can say is Eva. And holy shit, they got Jet Alone in this game as a human girl. Gotta love the Jet Alone representation. This game is honestly kind of funny. Like, I'm not pissing my pants laughing or anything, but the fact that it even exists is funny in its own right. there's gotta be somebody out there where this is their first experience with the Evangelion franchise. Like, imagine going from this game to the end of Evangelion. That must be traumatizing. So yeah, I don't got a whole lot to say about this one. It's not like super crazy or anything, but it feels right at home on the DS. Alright, one more game. Here we have Neon Genesis Evangelion Battle Orchestra, which was released in June of 2007 for the PlayStation 2, with a PSP port coming out later in July of 2009. I will be looking at the PS2 version of this game in the video, and I will be emulating it in this video as well, because I don't have a way of playing PlayStation 2 imports on my actual PS2, nor do I have a way of loading it in some, unofficial way through other means, whatever, you get the deal. I'm just gonna emulate it. Now, I've only become aware of this game until very recently. The only reason I ever found it is because I was looking through just Evangelion games for this video, and I'm really glad that I found this game. This game is a fighting game in a similar style to Super Smash Bros., though obviously it is a little different. There's 3 separate story modes for Shinji, Rei, and Asuka. Now, it's all in Japanese, so I have no idea what's going on, but it's still neat nonetheless. I will say though, this game does feel a little clunky. It definitely takes some time to get used to. But, despite all that, it's actually pretty fun. You get to fight the angels and even some Eva units. You can get power-ups throughout the matches that can make you feel faster and can get you more health. There's even a meter in this where if you have enough in it, you can do a special attack. There's tons of unlockable characters in this game, which unfortunately I don't have, but apparently one of those unlockable characters is Jet alone. You love to see it. They even have the Gunbuster from another one of Gainax's shows called Gunbuster. I haven't watched that one yet, but it's cool that it's here. Also, shout out to Pen Pen in this one level. He's just chilling here. That's awesome. Love that guy. So yeah, this game definitely is not perfect, but there's some fun to be had here for sure. So that does it. Those were some Evangelion games. And, a lot of these games are not flawless, but I was pleasantly surprised. I definitely enjoyed playing some of these games, but it goes without saying that to really get the most out of these games, you gotta be a fan of the Evangelion series to get the most out of them. And these aren't all of the Evangelion games, of course. These are just some of the ones that stuck out to me personally. Some other Eva games include visual novels like Evangelion Girlfriend of Steel, which I actually own a copy of on the PS1 for some reason. There's some other PS2 games like Neon Genesis Evangelion 2 and Evangelion Joe, which both of those also have PSP versions. There was even a short-lived news subscription service on the PS3 hosted by Masato. Not to mention the Mahjong games like Evangelion and Good Friends that feature characters from other Gainax shows, that being Nadia Secret of the Blue Water and Gunbuster. That game was originally made for the PlayStation and Sega Saturn, but got ported to Windows as a slightly different game called Eva and Good Friends, the stripping instrumentality project, which involves characters taking off items of clothing as the player progresses through the Mahjong levels. Well, that really sours the mood, doesn't it? Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really glad that a lot of these games actually weren't half bad. So with that being said, I'll catch you some other time.
Bye.